Hello, and welcome to another episode of Writing Fighting. So today we're going to talk about maybe the most important piece of armor ever invented, the gauntlet. So gauntlets changed everything in 14th century Europe. And it's important to know that making steel gauntlets, like the gauntlets I'm wearing, really only appears in the early 14th century. And that by the late 14th century, they're required. And when I say required, I mean when Sir John Hawkwood, the most famous mercenary of the day, when he mustered a company of mercenaries, all the knights and men-at-arms were required to have gauntlets. So what do gauntlets do? Well, in effect, they protect your hands while you're using any weapon. If you don't have gauntlets, your hands are the most vulnerable part of you. And they're so vulnerable that they're the number one target on the battlefield or in a duel. Once you have gauntlets, there's nothing that this sharp sword can do to hurt your hands. And if you have good leather gloves inside, you can half sword. You can grab that sharp sword and ram it into somebody like it was a little dagger and not hurt your hand, because those elk-hide gloves are keeping your hand protected. Fencing, that is the idea of fighting sword to sword. And now I'm really talking to writers. Sword to sword fighting starts with gauntlets. Before gauntlets, men with shields had to keep their hands hidden behind the shield because otherwise it's just a contest of cutting at the other guy's fingers. And that ends really fast. After gauntlets, people can keep their hands in front of their bodies. They can use a two-handed sword, which is a death trap without gauntlets. They can defend themselves, they can attack, and it's not just a game of hand sniping. And everything changes. Centerline attacks, disengages, feints, all of that stuff that you read about in Sabatini and Dumas and whatever, all of that comes with the ability to either have gauntlets or a complex hilt. And we'll talk about that more after we talk about armor. See you tomorrow.